Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morse, the review guy reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video, and in this one I'm going to be covering the new Soen record entitled Imperial. Soen is a progressive metal supergroup, and this is their 5th studio-length album. While their lineup began as a bulwark of extreme metal legends, some have passed on from the band throughout the years, but part of the reason that Soen is such an interesting progressive band is the ties to other groups outside of the genre that they are playing in, whether it be Death, whether it be Testament, or Amon Amarth, or Opeth. What I'm getting at is that the band comes from a place past just progressive metal and rock alone. The influences that they draw on transcend past the typical. This gives them the opportunity to lay into some intricate riff work or vocal passages, choruses. As a follow-up to their 2019 record Lotus, which in many ways was a disappointment slightly for me, I think that Imperial, in comparison, improves on some things and falls short on others. While the Tool influence is clear as day, as the band themselves has called Tool a genre, not just a band alone, Soen also differentiates themselves in the sense of they do feel very much in the contemporary, with bands like Haken and Caligula's Horse. If there is a contemporary progressive metal and rock tree, they are clearly a branch on it. Catchy songwriting, crunchy riffs, harmonic layering, deep philosophical lyrics, double bass laden drum work. The blueprints for a good prog record is here. The main lick that plays through the introduction track Lumerian, the hard repetition of Monarch shoulder to shoulder with commanding vocals that still somehow find a way to lower itself into more somber moments. It's hard to look past Soen's ability to open a track up to more than it can be on its own. And that point is made even more clear with the variety on this album and the tricks that they clearly have up their sleeve. Say like the drifting, melancholic tone of probably my favorite track on the record, Illusion, which harkens back to a Pink Floyd deep cut. Modesty features this amazingly triumphant guitar solo, and they make sure to pack in these moments that just stick with you, cut really quickly, make it very clear that they are wanting to make an impression, they're wanting to make an impact, and it's times like these that make it very difficult to not just snap your finger, nod your head, and be like, that's a damn good riff. The sanitized mixed isn't necessarily a problem. If anything, one of the greatest strengths of the band, past material and this, would be their production. I think a major pitfall for this record that I experienced very quickly, the first major thing I noticed, is the disconnected sensation that many of these choruses have compared to verses. At times, yes, the transition can work. And other times it feels like a disjointed rip into something that is attempting to be far more soaring and theatrical and epic than it actually is. Contrasting with these low, saccharine verses that have more of a reminiscent feel, Soen very much struggles with finding a balance a lot of times. Because funnily enough, I think the verses in many ways are some of the most standout moments. Their minimalist approach genuinely gives me these little nudges and hints to some of my favorite prog bands of the past, whether that be Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull, Rush. This beautiful jab into the progressive abyss is what I've come to love about it. And I'll go back to Illusion for a second, as it is my favorite track on this record. This song is so beautifully made. It never attempts to become larger than life. It's one of the most gorgeously assembled odes to the past from a modern prog band that I've heard in a hot minute. It services as a galaxy of ultraviolet. Put that against, say, the track Antagonist, which in every single way is heavier, crustier, very much Tool in the way they approach vocals and the riff writing and just the general progression. It feels straight out of something that could have been on, say, 10,000 Days. On Antagonist, you can bear witness to one of the most powerful moments and powerful choruses lyrically, but the quick transition into the bustling chorus leaves me scratching my head for how something can sound this out of whack and disjointed in comparison, considering this track is heavier than others. What I'm getting at is when Soen becomes too heavy, too epic and theatrical and over the top, it's when they struggle the most with their most rudimentary songwriting and their issue with blending into the contemporary progressive metal and rock scenes. Heavy is something they do properly, but in small dosages where it is able to work hand in hand with softer sections, with atmospheric sections, not just entire tracks. Imperial, for all intents and purposes, purposes, is a record that bears the torch for the past, pays homage to the past, but firmly plants its seeds in the current scene. Underwhelming moments of theatrics can bog it down, and unfortunately the dragging on of moments that should not be so much of a centerpiece as they are can cause a bit of fatigue to settle in across the record, yes. Past that, Imperial's crisp production, careful attention to riff writing, catchy, powerful vocal refrains, great solos and great atmosphere, and great verses can in many ways compensate for its shortcomings. But in the future, I would love to see Soen do something to make their sound more than it is and work more on finding that middle ground, because unfortunately there are many moments here where it does get bogged down by the lack of a balance. I'm going to be giving this album a 6.5 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Have you heard this new Soen record, Imperial? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss this record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified about future uploads. You know who it is, my name is Jay Morse, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.